It started as an ordinary day, filled with anticipation and excitement for the future. After weeks away on a work trip, I finally returned home, eager to finalize the last details of my wedding with my fiancée, Maya. Our plans were coming together, and soon we would officially begin our lives as husband and wife. However, my joy was short-lived. A single glance at our shared savings account shattered every illusion I had about our relationship. The numbers didn't add up. I expected to see the carefully saved funds we had set aside for the wedding. But instead, the balance was suspiciously low. At first, I reassured myself that it must have been a simple banking error or an automatic payment I had forgotten about. But as I scrolled through the transaction history, my stomach tightened. A charge of $8,700 stood out like a glaring red flag, an expense from a luxury resort in the Bahamas. Confusion turned to dread as I realized exactly what this meant. Maya had spent the money meant for our wedding on a lavish vacation, and she hadn't gone alone. The resort name stirred something in my memory, and then it hit me. Kyle. Her ex. The same Kyle she had once described as a toxic but passionate part of her past. The realization sent a cold wave of betrayal through me. While I had been working, pouring my time and effort into building a future for us, she had been indulging in a romantic getaway with the man she had supposedly left behind. I sat in stunned silence, staring at the proof of her deception. When Maya walked through the door, humming softly as if nothing had changed, I felt a surge of anger bubbling beneath my skin. I confronted her immediately, holding up my phone with the transaction displayed on the screen, demanding an explanation. I expected panic, guilt, something to indicate that she understood the gravity of what she had done. Instead, she merely shrugged, her expression infuriatingly casual. I needed closure, she said simply, as if that justified everything. As if it was perfectly reasonable to spend our wedding savings on a final romantic escape with her ex. Her dismissiveness was like a slap to the face. The sheer audacity of it made my blood boil. Did she think so little of me? Had I been nothing more than a convenient source of financial security, while she toyed with her unresolved past? In that moment, something shifted inside me. The blind devotion I had once felt for her vanished, replaced by a cold and calculating clarity. Every moment of gaslighting, every time she had made me second-guess my instincts, every manipulation, it all clicked into place. She believed she had won. She thought she could betray me, take my money, and still walk away unscathed. But she had underestimated me. If she had so easily dismantled my life, then I would take my time dismantling hers, slowly, methodically, in a way she would never see coming. I spent the next few days reflecting, analyzing every interaction, every subtle manipulation she had employed over the years. Maya had always prided herself on her intuition, believing that the universe spoke to her through signs and omens. She often consulted psychics, crafted elaborate vision boards, and shaped her decisions around the messages she believed were guiding her. It was a quirk I had once found endearing. Now, it was a weapon I could use against her. My plan began subtly. I feigned understanding, offering her an insincere apology and pretending to accept her excuse about closure. I told her I still loved her, that I wanted to move past this and continue with our wedding as planned. She believed me completely, unaware of the storm I was quietly preparing. I started by planting seeds of doubt. One morning, over coffee, I casually mentioned a strange dream I had, a dream that felt like a warning. I described it in vague but unsettling terms, just enough to make her superstitious mind latch onto it. I saw the flicker of unease in her eyes, the way she tensed slightly before forcing a laugh. She tried to dismiss it, but I knew she was already thinking about it. Over the next few weeks, I escalated my psychological game. I altered her vision board, replacing the images of success and happiness with ones that hinted at chaos and misfortune. I subtly manipulated her environment, flickering the lights at odd hours, swapping out her calming playlist with eerie, unsettling music. I watched as her paranoia grew, her once confident demeanor giving way to nervous glances over her shoulder. The final stroke came when I sent her a cryptic, anonymous message. Asterisk, something is coming. You should have made different choices. Asterisk. I knew it would consume her, burrowing into her mind like an unshakable curse. She became restless, constantly checking her phone, searching for signs and symbols that might explain the growing sense of dread that I had carefully cultivated. One night, I woke her abruptly, pretending to have heard her screaming in her sleep. I told her she had been crying out about someone watching her. The look on her face, the pure, unfiltered terror, was priceless. In that moment, she truly believed she was being haunted, not just by the universe, but by the weight of her own actions. The final blow came on a weekend when she planned a trip with her friends. While she was gone, I acted decisively. I emptied our joint accounts, canceled our utilities, and changed the locks on our apartment. When she returned, expecting to walk back into life she had so carelessly taken for granted, she found nothing but emptiness. She pounded on the door, her voice frantic, demanding answers. But I wasn't there to give her any. I watched from a distance, sipping my coffee, reveling in the sight of her unraveling. The woman who had played with my heart, my trust, and my future was now experiencing the consequences of her own games. The next morning, my phone was flooded with missed calls and desperate messages. Apologies, pleas for an explanation. But I didn't respond. Instead, I blocked her number, erased her from my life, and moved forward without looking back. Maya had always believed in karma, but she never expected it to come from me. She had spent years bending fate to her will, manipulating people and situations to serve her own desires. But this time, the universe had turned against her, and I was the one who had set it in motion.